We have this saying, don't shoot the messenger. I'm not sure that Kim Jongun has actually heard that because he's a fan of doing exactly that. This is new reporting coming out of the largest newspaper in South Korea saying that after the February summit in Vietnam between Donald Trump and the leadership of North Korea, after they failed to reach a nuclear deal, the regime in March killed 5 diplomats by firing squad at a Pyongyang airport.
Wow.
And there had been, I believe in March of this year, there was some initial reporting that there had been reprisals against some of the diplomats. It wasn't as specific, and bear in mind that as of right now, this particular report is based off of one anonymous source, but it does confirm at least the general content of previous reporting. We have a little bit more details. Kim Chol, one of North Korea's top overall officials who visited the White House last year, has been subjected to hard labor and ideological education. Among those who were killed was Kim Hyok Chol, North Korea's top working level nuclear negotiator who served for months as America's key counterpart. He was accused of spying for the United States for poorly reporting on the negotiations without properly grasping US intentions, which sounds like a roundabout way of saying he didn't get what North Korea wanted. He was one of those who was apparently shot to death.
Now, I want to remind you guys that Donald Trump said that he loved Kim Jongun, and they wrote letters back to and forth. I mean, he has had overwhelming praise of Kim Jongun. He just said the other day, this week, he said he's a very smart man, and he said in his country, when the president says something or when the leader says something, everybody stands up and applauds. And wouldn't that be great if it was here? You know why they stand up and applaud, Donald? Because if they don't, they get executed. And so I don't know what your intentions are, but let's give you a best case scenario that you're incredibly ignorant. The guy has concentration camps. He executes people that it's not even that disagree with him. Again, Trump might think that that's the worst case scenario is Trump thinks, awesome, I love that idea. The best case scenario is Trump doesn't have any idea of anything happening in the world and doesn't know that. Hey, do you ever, you watch Fox, right? Fox, please run the story.
Steve Doocy,
right?
Please.
Right.
Well, they don't want to. Trump obviously loves them. But to John's point about how there's one source with this, it's reported by one particular person. So there has been several senior officials that have said that they've reappeared after it was considered to possibly have been executed for whatever random reasons. But that's a fact. But it's also realized that several officials that were rumored to have been executed did not reappear. So even if this is maybe a report that doesn't gonna get confirmed completely and verified and under all terms, the point is it has happened. It's definitely not a 0% thing. So as our president goes in and kisses this guy, and then makes sure that he exalts him as this really smart guy, and he's a tough guy running a tough country. Kind of have to do that. That's something else he liked to say. He's still exalting someone who has done things like this before. So there's a reason why people will believe this, because it has been true before.
Yeah. And so as to the earlier reporting, not this particular report, but earlier reporting that there had been these reprisals, asked by ABC News about those reports back on the 5th of May, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo smiled as he said, quote, "It does appear that the next time we have serious conversations that my counterpart will be someone else." Jesus. That is ghoulish, that is dark.
Not something I smile over. By the way, North Korea is demanding that Pompeo be replaced. I don't know by what they mean by replace, but that's not what we do, okay? And so I don't know if Trump will give in to their demands, because he seems to give in to all their demands. And I wasn't joking. The quote from Donald Trump about Kim Jong-un was, "We fell in love." That's a direct quote. So and earlier in the week again, when they fired off missiles, and his intelligence officials told him the North Koreans have fired off missiles, and he said, no, they haven't. And he went on Twitter and said no. And then he laughed with Kim Jong-un about how Joe Biden was low IQ. I mean, get a load of that irony. And so not only is it against American interests to laugh along with a dictator as he criticizes one of our vice presidents, but the fact that he understands nothing at all about what kind of a monster Kim Jong-un is. Or again, the other scenario is worse. He does understand what kind of a monster Kim Jong-un thinks, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, sadly, this North Korean official that was potentially murdered for not getting information out of Donald Trump, it's sad because he couldn't find any.
Yeah.
I want to read one more.
Right. They're like, hey, can you get some intelligence from Donald Trump? Really? That's the standard? I'm toast.
I'm dead.
He sends back these reports that Donald Trump keeps changing his mind, and they're like, this can't possibly be true. I want to read one other quote though. So this is about loyalty, basically. It says, it is an anti-party, anti-revolutionary act to pretend to be revering the leader in front of him when you actually dream of something else. There are traitors and turncoats who only memorize words of loyalty towards the leader and even change according to the trend of the time. Now that is from an official mouthpiece for the North Korean regime, but like, do you really believe that Donald Trump doesn't want Sarah Huckabee Sanders to be saying things like that when they so gleefully cast off the people who had formerly been insiders in the White House? Look at how he talked about Rex Tillerson or Steve Bannon. All of these people, like as soon as they are no longer in his good graces, is it really fundamentally different language that they're using?
No, I thought you were gonna say it's the same. Donald Trump talks about traitors all the time. He says,
and rats.
And he says he wants to round up the traitors who committed treason against him by daring to investigate and question the dear leader. Look, the parallels are haunting, and I guess that's why it makes sense that he fell in love with Kim Jongun. And if you're not freaked out by that, there's something wrong with you. Doesn't mean you can't do a peace deal with monsters, but you shouldn't go around celebrating who they are, what they've done, and tell us how in love you are with them as they're going around murdering people in their own regime. And remember, Kim Jongun also murdered his half-brother, and legitimate reports out that murdered several ex-girlfriends after he took power.
Also an uncle.
Yeah.
Like what you see? Click the subscribe button below and don't forget to ring the bell to never miss another video from the Young Turks.